The pipeline attack, as per this article, it says here that they put together an interagency team that includes the Department of Energy, right? Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, FBI, DOT, right? Department of Treasury. And so, again, these are all government agencies that we discuss, we talk about each and every week on the show here. These are people that we interview. These are our folks that we're interviewing on our podcast, work and support these agencies. So when you see things like this, you have to think about, okay, Andrew, Mark, people who are in the IT space, where's the opportunity for the guy or girl like myself? All right. And so how do you find that opportunity? What should you be looking for exactly, right? And that's what we're talking about today's upcoming live session. So one of the things that we have, and if you go back to one of our old shows, let's just pull this up on the screen, right? And we talk about opportunities and where to find them. While we're looking at where are our opportunities for growth, where are our opportunities and by the way, on there where it says beta.sam, it's not beta.sam, it's for sources. So it's RFI, sources sought. It's not beta.sam looking for contracts. But when we go back to an old video that I have, and I'm pulling it up on the screen right now, when we go back to this older video that I have with Nicole Tripoli here, I'm trying to find it. When we go back to one of my older videos with Nicole Tripoli, we'll find where she discussed GAO. And on the GAO, which, does anyone know what GAO is, by the way? Anybody know what GAO? Not Nikki, you can't answer this question. Who knows GAO out here? Anybody know what GAO stands for? And what's their role? Anybody know GAO? Drop it in the chat if you know GAO. This is super important, folks. GAO. All right, so GAO stands for the Government Accountability Office. Why is that important? When we go back to the article, and they mentioned here that in May 2019, the Government Accountability Office issued a scathing report of TSA's performance, right? Amongst other things, there were 6 staff assigned to area. When they talk about GAO, this is the Government Accountability Office, and this is the article that was issued at that time that talks about infrastructure protection. And it mentioned here that there were recommendations, right? How TSA manages pipeline securities. We previously made 10 recommendations, including they established a better process for updating its guidelines, hazardous liquid and natural gas pipelines in the United States. GAO, the Government Accountability Office, for those of you who don't know, now in this report, the Government Accountability Office, essentially what they do is they review federal agencies and issues that they need to correct, they need to fix, areas where they are weak, areas where there's vulnerabilities. And so what happens, my podcast guests, let's go in, right? They've mentioned here that the Government Accountability Office issued this report, and there's been a commission, bipartisan effort within the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and Congress to turn responsibility for pipeline cybersecurity over to the Department of Energy. Then it goes into the attack on this pipeline, 5,000 miles attributed by the FBI to a criminal ransomware, and the perpetrators. Now, we're not going to get into that specific details because for me, the 60,000 level view of this goes back to this Government Accountability Office. And this is an area where Nicole, when she was on my podcast, we discussed opportunities for small businesses, right? When you're talking about a look ahead and forward thinking, this is an area where so many of us, we tend to forget, or not even forget, maybe we're not aware of this, but this is an area where we can offer solutions. So people oftentimes want to come in and you say, for example, like Andrew and Mark, maybe you've devised some sort of solution, right? But you're like, okay, I have this new technology, I've got this solution, who do I present it to? Well, if you go here to the GAO, and the pipeline was a great example, the General Accountability Office made recommendations for how to potentially prevent some of these things from happening, and it listed their vulnerabilities. Uh, at that time, right, in 2019, if you had a solution for this particular problem, then you could have technically approached the organization at hand with your solution on this. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily be a solution from the standpoint of a software or a hardware solution. It could be a simple solution as a better way of tracking the information, a better way of collecting the data, a way of looking at the information and offering recommendations or triggering alerts. So not all the solutions have to be technical in nature. So we go back and we look at, I'm going to pull up just the overview of the Government Accountability Office. If we look at reports here, this is a great way if you have an agency that you want to work with, if you have an agency that you're thinking about working with, if you go in and you look here, and again, this is all public information, public data, go.gov, reports and testimonies. All of this information is here. This is something that I read about today. All right, look at this. DoD faces challenges and opportunities with acquiring space systems in a changing environment. People, what we're forgetting is that the government is a public entity paid by taxpayers' dollars, and the information on whether they do good stuff or bad stuff is available. And what I'm here to do, my job, I feel, my responsibility is to help you to determine what information you need, where to get it from, and how to use it. And so that's what we're doing today, is saying we out here are solution providers. We're small business contractors. I don't know who's in what industry, right? You're posting it in the chat. We're going to jump back over that to a minute. But without knowing each and every one of you individually, I don't know what solutions you have. I don't know what connections you have. I don't know who you don't know. But the GAO, General Accountability Office, is another source, another place to explore when you've basically said, hey, look, I have this new invention. And by the way, I get this all the time. So this is not like a one-off thing. I get this all the time from folks. I've got this new whatever. I got a patent pending, right? How do I sell it to the government? Well, does the government need it? Well, I don't know if the government needs it. Well, how do I find out if the government needs it? This is one way to find out. And by the way, this whole website is searchable. So you can come on and search. Let me go back over to the chat and take some questions while we continue having this conversation out here with folks. Browse around. And for folks out here, by the way, make sure to give us a thumbs up. If you like the content, you like what we're talking about, always looking for new and innovative ways to inform folks out there. Let's see who we have in the room. O'Connor's work. Mark Higgins has just joined 1.0. Good job, Mark. Glad to have you on board. Looking forward to talking with you on your first Tuesday call. Bobby Smith, IT software, Huntsville, California. Government Accountability Office, General Accounting Office, Government Watchdog. There you go. GAO establishes a price list. I like that. That's GSA, but they don't even establish it. It comes up. 10 Chief, what's up, brother? All right, good stuff. So is everyone following? So again, when we come on here, let's go in. This is one talks about Space Force. And let me tell you, the reports are really good. Look at this. The reports are really thorough in nature. Why did GAO do the study? I mean, it gives you background information for you to take and have intelligence, because we need market intelligence. When we're talking to agencies, when we're talking to small business specialists, when we're talking to program managers, when we're talking to decision makers, this is all the goodies that you want to take. When people say, Eric, I'm going to have my capabilities briefing. I don't know what I should be taking in the meetings. I don't know, how do I set up a meeting with a government official, right? Forecast lists, these types of reports. This is how you get to the highest levels of people to get them to respond back to you. This is how you get people to take your calls. This is how you get people to respond back to your emails. Having this type of data, having this information available at hand is going to allow you to, when you're speaking to someone at that agency, at that office, say, hey, I have a solution, right? Nikki and I were talking today is that we have to look at ourselves as problem solvers. The government has all of these problems, all these issues, and we are here to solve the problems. Remember, if you go back to the videos that what Judy said, and the same thing that Randy's doing, when you're reaching out to your federal human, right, you want to think of yourself as, hey, what needs do you have that we can help with? What are some of the areas where people are not servicing you? What are some of the things in which the things on your plate that you need to get off your desk that maybe we can help you with? Come in thinking about how you could solve their needs. Someone in the government, in DOD, saw this report, and it's basically like they got a big fat F, right? So they're now, imagine, okay, let's turn this around, because so many of us, we are looking at it because, again, we're out of inexperience. We're looking at this and we're saying, all right, Eric, look, I hear you, I get you, but yeah, I'm a problem solver for the government. Yeah, I solve their needs, but I'm this little guy. I'm nobody. Why would the government care about me, right? Why would the government even talk to me? I don't have anything. I don't have anything that they want, or I can't really help them. Well, now that's what you're saying to yourself, right? That's that negative thought transmissions. What I'm saying, that from my experiences, is this: once you start working for the government, and when I say working for the government, once you get to the point where you have the government as a client, and now the government is your client, what's going to happen is that they're going to call you, they're going to email you for everything. And why is that? Why is the government going to call you and email you for everything? Because now the government looks at you as providing a solution provider and someone that they trust and someone they know can get things done. Well, that only happens because they have needs. If they didn't have needs, they wouldn't call you. They wouldn't call any of us. So now let's put ourselves in the shoes of the government buyer, right? Let's put ourselves in the shoes of this guy or girl who, this came out, published May 24th, right? Which is a few days ago. I think that was yesterday. And you just saw this report from the General Accountability Office, and you're now taking a dump and you're saying to myself, oh crap, right? What do I do here? Now, you're a government employee, you get a paycheck, you work 9 to 5, but you just got this big pile of stuff on your desk that someone's saying to you, hey, you're gonna have to report back to Congress and figure this thing out. Where do you get a solution from? Who do you call? We are not realizing that this guy or girl has a big problem on their hands at this point.